Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Sunstone, and today's video is the third episode in my Coral Island Diaries series. So we're gonna take it all the way back to the day after the last update launched, so December 1st. Now that the Mooncake Festival is actually revealed, we can see it in the developer diaries. Previously, it was redacted. The Mooncake Festival is a mid-autumn festival held on a full moon, and to celebrate this festival, lanterns are carried and displayed as symbolic beacons that light people's path to prosperity and good fortune. Sometimes they're also released into the sky as floating lanterns, so this is essentially the lantern festival that a lot of you were wanting and hoping for Coral Island. I'm wondering if we'll actually get a recipe for mooncakes so that we can cook ourselves. I think that would be really sweet. I've been told that this festival revolves around family and friends coming together, so it'll definitely be a nice moment for you and all of the NPCs to celebrate together. And I wonder how they'll incorporate harvesting crops and such for this festival, because I believe that's also a big part of the Mooncake Festival in real life. There's a note here that actually talks about the teleportation totems, and it says that they're painting them. So I wonder if this means that they're adding color to the totems for fast travel. I think that would be really neat. Here it says that they're improving the ranch music and creating school theme music. So I believe that these notes almost confirm that the music they mentioned in the last update for the different interiors will actually be specific to each location and building. I think this will be a really nice detail. I love that in Animal Crossing, every interior that you go into has different music. I just think it's a nice touch, so I'm really looking forward to this being implemented in Coral Island. It also says that they've completed the cooking utensil icons, so this will be interesting to see moving forward, because previously the UI that they shared actually just had placeholder icons, so we didn't get a chance to see the icons for the cooking utensils yet. This is a pretty small detail, but I just think it's really interesting that they're working on a hallway specifically for Paul. I don't possibly know what that could mean. I've never heard of someone having their own hallway. Somehow it just seems to make sense for Paul. Like, he would have something quirky like that, like a hallway dedicated to, I don't know, maybe wildlife photography or something. Moving on to December 2nd, the team was working on cooking animations. I know Red and I have talked in the podcast about whether or not the characters will interact with different items and what sort of animations they'll have when they're sort of just, you know, minding their business around town and in their homes. So I'm not sure if this cooking animation is for the NPCs when they're just, you know, hanging out in their homes and doing some cooking, or if they'll actually be a cooking animation when we're cooking. But I also like that there's a fortune cookie emoji. Can we make fortune cookies? I would like that. Fortune cookies would actually be a really cool item in general. Just thinking about it, like if you could actually buy a fortune cookie and then like crack it open and get a little fortune, that would be so cute. I thought this note was really interesting. I don't know how to interpret it, but it said that they were preparing for blacksmith and coral in animation. So I don't know if those are like tasks that the characters will do within these two buildings. So for instance, Pablo and Raphael smelting ores, creating tools, that sort of thing. And then, you know, like Suki and Alice working at the front desk at the Coral Inn. Like, I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about, but I just thought it was worded interestingly, like as if the buildings would have their own animations, which they also might. Like, I mean, like the doors opening and closing, who knows, right? This note is super exciting to me. It says that they're prototyping different kinds of clothes to wear, which I cannot wait to see. I love the farmer overalls that they've given us as like starter outfits for the alpha. I think they're so lovely, so I can't wait to see the rest of the clothes that will be available for our player. We know now that there is a clothing store at the community center called White Flamingo, which is just the best name ever in my opinion. We've also seen a lot of artwork of the NPCs wearing clothes with the brand Wabanana, so I wonder if the Wabanana clothes will be available at White Flamingo. Regardless, I'm just excited to see that clothes are in development because I love clothes in games. It says they're working on an observatory. I'm wondering if this is located at the lighthouse or like the lookout area by the beach, because I couldn't think of like where else they would have an observatory, or at least the type of observatory that I'm thinking of, which would be sort of to like look at the stars and planets and stuff like that. That's what I see an observatory as in my mind. So I think the lighthouse would be like a perfect spot for that. I wonder if there'll actually be anything we can do there, like quests or making constellations or having certain astrology or space themed items, alien stuff maybe for Alice Uranus and Noah's interests. Maybe they hang out there a lot and study the stars in the sky and theorize on aliens. Who knows? This isn't something that I've seen them mention until now, so I do think that's quite exciting. On December 3rd, they're actually working even further on the character customization prototype. I do think the character customization interface in general is really nice. If you take a look at the prototype video that was published on their YouTube channel, there were a lot of features that weren't yet developed, like the jawline. They also hadn't implemented colors for like eyebrows. I don't think they had colors for eyes. Like there's a lot of different things that weren't yet included in the prototype that definitely will be at some point. And I'm also imagining that they're probably revising the way that the body type is addressed, because although they added a slider, which is excellent, I do think that a more detailed slider or several sliders for different parts of the body would be more helpful. But we'll just see how that goes moving forward. It's totally a work in progress, so I'm excited to see it as it continues to grow and develop. I think the customization is already great for the fact that it's an alpha. I mean, some fully developed games don't even have this level of character customization, so we can definitely be confident that we're gonna have quite a variety of customization types. Maybe they'll even start adding facial hair, the option for glasses, please, tattoos, piercings. Maybe not quite yet, but hopefully at some point soon. So we've moved on from the Mooncake festival being the redacted festival. Now that one's out in the open, but we've got a new one. They've actually finished another concept for another festival. I wonder now if, since we're moving into the winter, they're working on some sort of winter festival. Now, this is also exciting to me. They're working on more animal concepts, which is cool because we've seen quite a few already. I actually have a video where I go over every animal that we've seen or know about so far in the game, which I will link down below. It goes into quite a bit of detail, even like little sneak peeks of animals that you might not have seen before, or notes in the developer diaries, tweets that the team made. So it's pretty involved. I definitely recommend checking it out if you want to know more about the animals. But just knowing that there's even more than what was covered in that video is pretty cool. And there's actually a chipmunk emoji here, which suggests that there'll be some sort of chipmunk or squirrel or animal from that family. And then they also shared that they're working on the fossil area with a dino emoji, so that means we will be able to find dinosaur bones, I'm imagining, and that there will likely be a specific area for each of the specimens that we donate. So an area for the fossils, an area for the bugs, the fish, the artifacts. So that's definitely really exciting. On December 6th, they also shared that there's going to be a museum statue area, which I believe is the area for the founders who backed on Kickstarter. There's supposed to be like a bunch of statues of all of the people who backed at a certain tier, which is really cool. And I'm a little bit jealous that I couldn't secure that tier of backing because I want my statue in the game, okay? But that's pretty cool that they're starting to work on that, if that's what it is. If not, I mean, what other statues could there be? Now, there's a note about updating the base Cherry Blossom Festival offering. And I'm not exactly sure what this means, but in the artwork of the Umbul Umbuls, we did see that the Cherry Blossom Festival is actually a cherry blossom potluck. So I do wonder if this offering is referencing a dish that we actually have to bring to the festival for the potluck. I think that would be a really neat touch, and it would definitely incentivize some players to cook who might not otherwise, and just make the festival more interactive. So that's just a guess of what this offering might be, but let me know if you have any other ideas. On December 8th, they started off by highlighting once again that the soon-to-be dateable character Ben is getting a glow up, which they have highlighted in a previous update. So I think it's safe to say that he's probably looking very handsome and getting quite the overhaul on his 3D model, so definitely looking forward to that. Now there's a note here that they're sculpting something related to the giants, which definitely lines up with the fact that in the next update, supposedly, if everything goes according to plan, they're actually going to be adding giants into the alpha. We don't really know a lot about these giants. We don't really know a lot about any of the Coral 3. This is all a mystery at this point, but it's definitely exciting to see that that is in the works and on the way to actually being in the game. Now, this next note is a first that I've personally seen in the developer diaries. So far, other than the Mooncake Festival, we've only had word of the spring season because that is the only season currently available in alpha. But here it notes that they're actually working on the winter season. This is exciting. I mean, it fits. We're currently entering winter in real life, so it's a great time to work on that and have inspiration for the colder months. Although this game is based in Indonesia, they are having a full-on winter season on the island, which I think is just going to be so beautiful. Excitingly, they've finished their concepts for the monsters, which is something that's kind of just flown under the radar. Initially in the trailer, we got a look at a few of the monsters that we could find in the mines, but since then, I mean, there hasn't really been much of anything said or shown. I'm definitely excited to see what sort of unique monsters are found in the mines. I'm interested to see what the combat mechanics and system will be like. I'm interested to see if we'll be able to toggle that on or off like they've mentioned they are considering. For those people who are not a fan of combat, we've got more animal concepts with a swan emoji. I'm just picturing like the Cherry Blossom Festival floating lantern boats with some swans sprinkled in there. They noted something about pufferfish posters, so I'm wondering if they're gonna be kind of found around town like propaganda style, and maybe one of your objectives will actually be to go around and find the posters and like take them down or something. I think that'd be a neat little mission to like clean up the town and like remove all the propaganda, like kind of collect them, but it could just be a decoration, who knows. And the last entry in the developer diaries that we're gonna look at today is from December 15th. There's a note here talking about the player hairstyles prototype. We've seen a few hairstyles in the character customization prototype. I'm sure they'll add more, and that's probably what they're working on. But I've also wondered, you know, once we go to the hair salon, if there'll be different styles available there, or if that'll just be a way that we can change our hairstyle whenever we feel like. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more hairstyles and to learn more about how the salon will work. I thought this was an interesting note. It says that there's actually a vacant room at the inn. So there's actually a lot of NPCs that live at the Coral Inn. Macy, Suki, Alice, and Eva, for example. So I wonder if the vacant room is actually for long-term rent for maybe one of the unrevealed mystery characters, or if it's just a vacant room for tourism, which we also know will be an aspect of this game. There will be visiting NPCs that will come and go on the island, so that vacant room could serve either of those purposes. So those are all of the notes that we're going to cover in today's episode of the Coral Island Diaries. If you haven't seen the first and second episode in this series, be sure to check them out. I will link them in the description of this video, and definitely stay tuned for more in the future. And now it's time for your top comments. So these comments were left on my latest video, which covered 10 things you may have missed in the latest update. The first comment is from AJ None of Your Biz. They said, I wonder if luck will play a factor in Coral Island, and if so, whether the Sessagen offerings may have an effect on our luck. This is definitely something worth thinking about. A lot of other games in the genre do implement luck mechanics into their gameplay, so it's definitely very plausible that Coral Island will follow suit. They also said, I'm torn between wanting more details and wanting to discover them for myself. You give us just enough to whet our appetites without spoilers. Thank you. You're so welcome. I'm also trying to find a balance with that, especially with playing the alpha. I don't want too many spoilers for the storyline, so I'm trying to avoid all that when I play. Obviously, everything I'm sharing at this point is all just public knowledge or speculation, so there shouldn't be any spoilers for the most part. Moving forward, that will probably change once the NDA lifts. I'll try to keep most of the spoilery stuff though in gameplay specifically. We'll just have to see moving forward how to balance that out. And the other comment is from Sweet Delights, who said, would love underground tunnels, ready to clean them out and discover the dwarfs, goblins, and others living below the earth. Sweet Sarah Sunstone, thanks. Once again, you are so welcome. I would also love underground tunnels, for sure. Don't know what we're gonna find down there, if anything. Again, all just speculation, but at least a community project clearing them out would be neat. And I do feel like there's some secrets down there, so we'll have to wait and see. Thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts on my last video. Be sure to leave your comments down below on this one, and maybe you'll be featured in my next. And before I leave you today, let's take a look at today's amazing fan art. And today's amazing fan art is yet another beautiful, beautiful illustration by Alejandro of Eva. She's one of my top favorites for sure. She's an S tier. I love her. She seems so sweet. She's the baker at Sam's. And I just love this art. She looks so beautiful. The colors are so vibrant. I love the flower in her hair with a little ladybug. It is such a cute, sweet detail. Her bracelets. I just love this art. Alejandro is so talented. So be sure to show Alejandro some love in the comments down below. And thank you so much for sharing your amazing art with us. Well, there you have it, friends. That was the third episode in my Coral Island Diaries series. Be sure to leave your thoughts on some of those notes in the comments below. As always, I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. And until next time, take care.